In the northern darkness, there is a fish, and his name is Kun. When he rises up and flies off, his wings are like clouds covering the sky. Over 2,000 years ago, the Taoist philosopher Zhuangzhou depicted this magnificent picture in verse. Today, a Chinese megaplane has brought to life the Chinese people's dream of reaching the highest heaven and diving into the deepest sea. The turboprop-driven aircraft has a length of 38.9 meters, a width of 38.8 meters, and a height of 11.7 meters. Its upper half resembles a large land-based aircraft, and its lower half a ship. The unique design allows it to take off from and land on water and soar into the sky like the mythical creature Kun. It's called the AG-600 Kunlun, a large amphibious aircraft for firefighting and water rescue independently developed in China. In Suzhou, Anhui Province, 530 kilometers away from Jiangmen, a deafening roar emanates from an abandoned quarry. Amid scattered boulders, a mechanical digging machine emerges, with a 4-meter-wide trench blocking its way. With all 4 wheels firmly gripping the ground, it extends its hydraulic digging arm across the trench to establish a pivot point, allowing its front wheels to be lifted into the air while moving forward. Once the front wheels are on the other side, the platform rotates 180 degrees, and the digging arm establishes another pivot point, allowing its rear wheels, in turn, to be lifted up as it continues. In this way, the digger can cross the trench. The maneuvers are not just for show. This agile machine has taken part in rescue missions on Sichuan Province's Ya'an Expressway, as well as for a fire in Sichuan's Muli County. It is the ET-120 intelligent rescue robot, specifically designed for emergency rescue. In the Henan Provincial Emergency Center, 330 kilometers north of Suzhou, phones are ringing in quick succession. News is received that in an office building just 3.5 kilometers away from the emergency center, a man has suddenly fainted during a meeting. Following an emergency call by a colleague, a rescue mission has been assigned to the Henan Provincial Emergency Center, the nearest one to the office building. In less than 60 seconds, a 4-person team consisting of ambulance driver Zhang Lei, attending physician Li Shunqing, and nurses Li Donghui and Xu Weiliang is assembled and ready to go. Along with them is a special assistant. Although of compact size and weighing only 3 kilograms, it can outperform many non-portable equivalents. It is the MX portable ultrasound device, the lightest and thinnest piece of medical imaging equipment in the industry, developed in China. This is the Shanghai Hengsha Island Diving Base, 850 kilometers south of Zhengzhou. Diving technology developer Hu Zhen and his teammates are about to face an extreme challenge. They will be confined within a compression chamber with a volume of less than 43 cubic meters. Once inside, they will be subjected to 50 atmospheres of pressure for 33 days and nights. This is China's first 500-meter underwater land-based saturation diving experiment. It aims to ensure that humans can remain unharmed under immense pressure and receive all the security and support they need to carry out diving missions in dark underwater depths, far below the surface of the ocean. So, what equipment can accomplish such a challenging task? This is the manned diving support vessel capable of the deepest descents now being made in China. It is equipped with cutting-edge technology and 2 sets of 500-meter saturation diving equipment, enabling it to carry out emergency rescue and salvage operations at great depths and under severe sea conditions, without shore-based support. It is China's first 500-meter saturation diving support vessel, Shunda. In May 2008, Western China was struck by the devastating Wenchuan earthquake. Nearly 70,000 lives were lost, with a further 390,000 people injured or missing. Landslides and road damage made it difficult for equipment to be transported over land to affected areas. It was a cruel lesson on the importance of aerial capabilities when carrying out rescue missions. As a result, the development of a large amphibious aircraft was initiated. In December 2017, the AG-600 Kunlun completed its maiden flight from land. Then, in July 2020, it achieved its first successful flight from sea. These successes proved its ability to take off from and land on water, as well as on solid ground.
水陆两栖飞机首先它要实现陆上飞机所有的功能。 同时呢，它还要实现在水面起降的特殊要求，找到一个折中的，就是比较完美的一个平衡点。因此，它从设计的复杂性上和难度上，比陆基飞机呢都要更大一些。
At 10 a.m. at Hubei Province's Jingmen Jianghe Airport, an AG-600 Kunlun is getting ready for a special test flight. This will be a water dropping test, in which it unloads water from the sky onto several monitoring points on the ground. The test will be crucial in determining whether the AG-600 is of true use in fighting forest fires. One noticeable difference in appearance between the AG-600 and conventional land-based aircraft is the 4 propellers along its wings. Unlike typical land-based passenger planes that primarily use jet engines, the AG-600 is powered by turboprops. Commercial airplanes usually require a takeoff distance of at least 1,500 meters. When fighting fires, however, it would be highly unlikely that a plane could find a 1,500-meter runway or water resources near its target fire. Such a plane would have to be able to climb into the air from a much shorter takeoff distance. To do this, the AG-600 has to achieve greater lift. The slipstream created by the high-speed rotation of its turboprop engines does this by speeding up the flow of air over its wings.
用数字的量化一下，没有滑流的时候，它可能产生的就是100个单位的升力。有螺旋桨滑流流过，把它的滑流叠加到这个飞行速度上的话，它产生的升力的单位可能就变成120个，这就是滑流增升。
Thanks to the extra lift generated by its 4 turboprop engines, the AG-600 can take off from a runway of only 800 meters in length. After this, its next task is to scoop water from a lake. Flying back and forth to refill at an airport is very time-consuming during firefighting operations. Scooping water from a nearby source allows for a much greater number of sorties. There are usually large reservoirs, lakes or rivers in the vicinity of forests. The AG-600 can glide over water at high speed for scooping. Floats under its wings ensure stability as it does so. Once it is low enough, 2 water buckets installed on its belly open simultaneously, enabling it to gather 12 tons of water to fill up its 4 large water tanks in less than 20 seconds. With its belly filled with water, the AG-600 is ready to take off again and head back to the fire. Before it can lift off, however, it needs to overcome the adhesive force of the water.
水的密度是空气的密度的800倍，水的阻力它比空气的阻力大约要大800倍， 在水上飞机在加速过程当中，是要克服的阻力比陆上要大得多。
The design of the lower section of the AG600 gives it the appearance of a high-speed boat. To achieve outstanding flight performance, indeed, requires a sleek and streamlined underside. The streamlined shape, however, can cause the aircraft to tightly adhere to the water surface and even fail to take off due to the adhesive force of the water. This is called the viscous effect. When a tap is turned on, its water falls vertically due to the force of gravity. When it falls onto the side of an object with a curved surface, however, a portion of the water is pulled sideways by the viscous effect. So, how does the AG600 overcome the adhesive force of water? The belly of the AG600 Kunlun is characterized by its step design, resulting in a 0.2 meter height difference between its forebody and afterbody. This design not only interrupts the high-speed flow of water coming from the forebody, it also creates an air layer between the belly and the water, allowing the AG600 to break free from the water's adhesive force. The special shape of the AG600's underside enables it to comfortably take off from water, even when carrying a full load of 12 tons. And with the help of its turboprop slipstream increase technology, it only needs an area of water that is 1,500 meters long, 200 meters wide, and 2.5 meters deep. This remarkable capability makes it a highly efficient airborne fire truck. In the abandoned quarry in Suzhou, Anhui Province, the ET-120 intelligent rescue robot is facing a demanding climbing test in a real-life scenario. Can the robot ascend a steep slope of over 45 degrees? The ET-120 weighs 12 tons and rests on 4 independently movable wheel legs. They give it a maximum stride length of 5 meters. When positioned vertically, the legs give the machine a wading depth of 2 meters. They enable it to climb slopes with an inclination of 40 degrees, cross trenches 4 meters wide, and overcome obstacles with a vertical height of 2.4 meters. To help it complete such complex maneuvers, the ET-120 is powered by a total of 18 hydraulic cylinders. Its platform, meanwhile, can rotate through 360 degrees.
最大的亮点就是它的这个底盘设计，底盘相当于有了16个自由舵，16个这个执行单元来控制这个整个底盘的动作。
Given such a versatile design, the ET-120 can not only effortlessly navigate complex terrains like mountains, swamps, and tunnels, it is also well suited for effective rescue operations following disasters like earthquakes and landslides.
沼泽啦、山地啦、涉水啦、壕沟了，像普通挖掘机上不去的地方，我们这款产品上去。你像西藏、青海、四川，药房呢，森林救火也有我们的。
Today, the ET-120 is tasked with climbing a steep slope. Jiangsu has operated ET-120s on multiple occasions in the past during rescue and relief missions. This test, however, is particularly challenging because of its 45-degree angle. When considering the exercise, Jan becomes unsure if he can make it. Under his control, the machine's revolving platform swivels 180 degrees so that its telescopic digging arm faces backwards. Its bucket can then serve as a 5th pivot point, supporting it together with its 2 front wheels and freeing the rear wheels for the climb. Powered by its hydraulic cylinders, the telescopic arm then pushes the front wheels forward. Suspended support claws are extended to the ground to help maintain the ET-120's balance during the climb, preventing it from tipping over. With the vehicle held in place by the claws, the telescopic arm repositions at its next pivot point to propel the machine upward once again. The test is now entering its final stage. With the top of the hill within reach, a 2-meter-high boulder blocks the way. So, the ET-120 executes another 180-degree turn. Its telescopic arm extends forward so that the bucket grips the boulder firmly. Thanks to the dragging force of the telescopic arm, the front wheels are pulled up and forward. The telescopic arm then rotates backwards to once again propel the machine's advance. Finally, the ET-120 reaches the top. It has successfully demonstrated its ability to undertake rescue missions requiring the climbing of 45-degree slopes. At the Henan Provincial Emergency Center, the 4-person team that has just been formed speeds off towards its destination. Driving the ambulance is Zhang Lei.
1年要从事急救5000多次病人，我从事急救工作20多年。
The ambulance turns right at the traffic lights on Zhengzhou's Jing'er Road and continues into Huanghe Road. Although its destination is only 3.5 kilometers away, the ambulance has to pass through the city center with busy traffic and complex road conditions. The route includes an overpass, 6 main streets, and 7 traffic lights. Zhang Lei has to stay fully focused and respond swiftly to changing road conditions. Every second counts.
我们每一趟急救任务都是和时间在赛跑，每天的工作就像是打了鸡血一样的赛跑。
At 14:32, the ambulance arrives at its target office building. The 4-person team swiftly unload a stretcher and rush to the scene at the 29th floor.
这个病人的话，首先考虑是一个急性心梗发作，在病人进医院之前，就对病人的心脏功能进行了一个整体的判断。
An on-site examination confirms Dr. Li's suspicion. The patient is rushed to the ambulance, which returns to the hospital. Since the outer ring road in front of the office building is a one-way street, Zhang Lei must make a detour, lengthening the journey by half a kilometer. The return trip is expected to take 22 minutes, during which time the team administers pre-hospital emergency care to alleviate the patient's symptoms and gather information for his treatment. Then, while the team is monitoring the patient's electrocardiogram readings and measuring his blood pressure, Dr. Li activates the MX portable ultrasound device to perform an ultrasound examination. In confined spaces like ambulances, the ultrasound device, with its compact and lightweight design, has a clear advantage over larger hospital machines. Packing such sophisticated functionality into a device weighing just 3 kilograms was, of course, no easy task.
外壳都是这种镁合金，镁的话，它的密度是非常的低的，同时它的强度是非常高的。整个外壳设计的非常的轻便，同时它的质感和对整个机器的保护又特别好。
Within the device's magnesium alloy housing, multiple transmitting and receiving capabilities are integrated into a single board.
便携超声里面的电路板可能有20层，上面的这个电子元器件可能有上万克。我怎么样去在这里面选择更轻、更小的元器件？怎么样把这个连接器去掉，然后合成一整块板卡？
The circuit board, comparable in size to an A4 sheet of paper, houses 5,000 electronic components, 25,000 connecting wires, and 100 million transistors, making it the industry's lightest and thinnest portable color ultrasound device. The ambulance has now reached Huanghe East Road in downtown Zhengzhou, 2.8 kilometers away from the emergency center. Despite its small size, the MX is on a par with its desktop counterparts in terms of image accuracy and performance. Such lightweight design and high-resolution imaging were once thought impossible to combine. So, How did the MX achieve this?
如果我们把台式彩超比作一辆豪华轿车，动力非常强劲，性能非常强，这样的一个高性能要得以维持，但是要把它的排量要压缩到原来它的1/5。
By leveraging the industry-leading ZST Plus platform, the MX Ultrasound device surpasses conventional devices in terms of data acquisition and computing power. It greatly increasing its data transfer rate to a level that is the equivalent of transmitting 2 high-definition movies per second.
我们这个成像方法、算法不断的重构和优化，并且依托于最先进的半导体器件、最先进的可编程逻辑器件、AFE 的芯片以及后端的计算处理单元，去打造一个非常低功耗、高性能的图像引擎，才有可能在一个笔记本这么大小的空间里面得以实现。
In addition to its robust data processing capabilities, the MX's automatic screen calibration is an important process for ensuring image accuracy. A mechanical arm grabs different fixtures to conduct various tests, such as image performance evaluation, button pressing testing, and touch screen inspection. This guarantees that the device can provide high-performance images to doctors in all scenarios to ensure reliable disease diagnosis. As a result of technological progress, an increasing number of human activities have come to rely on deep water operations. These activities include maritime rescue, shipwreck salvage, deep-sea resource exploitation, and oceanic environmental monitoring. While submersible vehicles with a mechanical arm can perform a wide range of tasks in the deep sea, they have trouble completing sophisticated operations like underwater salvage and subsea scientific research. As an alternative, saturation diving involves sending divers directly into the deep sea, allowing them to carry out sophisticated operations with unmatched dexterity. Atmospheric pressure is 1 atmosphere at sea level, and it increases by 1 atmosphere for every 10 meters descended underwater. This means that at 500 meters under the ocean's surface, a diver's body is subjected to 51 atmospheres of pressure, equivalent to an external pressure of 850 tons. How, therefore, can divers operate deep underwater without being crushed by the enormous pressure? At the saturation diving base on Hengsha Island in Shanghai, Hu Jian's diving team have entered the compression chamber of the Shunda vessel. It is made up of a living chamber, a transfer chamber, a diving bell, and a life support system. Its chambers are interconnected and maintain equal internal pressure. The team's 5-day pressurization process can now begin. To enable divers to work in a high-pressure environment at a depth of 500 meters in the sea, a scientific, meticulous and progressive pressurization schedule must be implemented to allow their bodies to gradually adapt. The process will last for 5 days and nights. Diving to a depth of 500 meters is currently the limit for Chinese divers. The pressure inside the chamber is being incrementally increased as planned. Thanks to their extensive experience in saturation diving, Hu Jian's team members can quickly adapt to the pressure at 300 meters underwater.
我是2014年下到313.5米。 那天下水是凌晨，水下漆黑一片，就靠我们潜水员自带的灯光能看出去，大概是1米左右吧，感觉就像荒漠一样。其实水下干活就是靠潜水员像单兵作战一样的嘛。
All the while, diving physician Ji Hongwei is carefully monitoring the team members' progress. During their pressurization process, divers can succumb to high-pressure nervous syndrome, compression arthralgia, dyspnea, and other adverse psychological reactions. If any diver displays symptoms, Dr. G must take appropriate measures immediately.
我个人感觉就到了400以升，一个是呼吸阻力变大，另外一个胃口啊慢慢的变差了，感觉消耗很大，对这种噪音啊感觉比较敏感，睡觉啊这种不是睡得很踏实。
Wang Youjun's role is to monitor the diver's brain waves in real time to detect signs of high-pressure nervous syndrome. As he cannot enter the hyperbaric chamber, he guides the divers from outside and instructs them to conduct electroencephalogram tests on their own. With their strong physiques and rich experience in saturation diving, Hu Jian's team hit the 400-meter milestone smoothly. But as the pressure inside the chamber continues to increase towards the limit achieved by Chinese divers, the challenge becomes more daunting. Can the team members come through it? "540 kilometers north of Hengsha Island, in the shipyard of Qingdao Beihai Shipbuilding Heavy Industry Company Limited in Shandong Province, the vessel Shunda is nearing the end of its construction. The big ship has a length of 177 meters, a width of 33 meters, a displacement of 13,500 tons, and an endurance of 10,000 nautical miles. After it is finished, 2 sets of 500-meter saturation diving equipment from Hengsha Island will be installed in designated positions on its main deck.
深大号呢，最突出的功能是在饱和潜水这一块，整个的船舶的设计、建造和施工，包括我们的工艺啊，都要围绕着这一个目标来实现。它是世界首套可拆卸的饱和潜水，所以它的安装的精度啊非常高，都是达到了微米级的。
As the pressure approaches the 500-meter mark in the chamber, everyone present is anxious. All the while, the condition of Hu Jian and his teammates has remained stable. Then, to general relief and applause, 500 meters is reached. They have passed the test. At 10:30 a.m. at Jingmen Zhanghe Airport in Hubei Province, the majestic AG-600 aircraft takes to the sky, ready to drop water on designated measurement points on the ground.
我们在实验场呢也布置了这个测量点，一个是在投下来之后，我们要收集单位面积来算这个水量；另外就是说，让试飞员来摸这个飞机，怎么样来精准的把水投到这个火场上去，目的就是将来达到灭火这个效果。
Depending on the severity of the fire it is fighting, the AG-600 can release its entire 12-ton load in one go or through multiple drops, covering an area of over 4,000 square meters each time. Now the moment of truth has come. Flying at a height of 50 meters, the plane's water tank doors open abruptly and 12 tons of water shower down onto a designated measuring area below. Successive runs see it flying back and forth to drop different volumes from different heights and at different speeds. With varying flight speeds and wind force, the water during the 5 drops takes on different shapes to shower the ground below with varying intensity. In addition to forest firefighting, the AG-600 also plays a crucial role in maritime rescue operations. China sees more than 2,000 shipwrecks annually, in which survivors forced into the sea can suffer from a precipitous fall in body temperature. If the temperature of the seawater is below 10 degrees Celsius, they will lose consciousness in 15 minutes. In seawater between 15 and 20 degrees, they can survive for 2 to 5 hours. The window for maritime rescue, therefore, is normally 2 to 5 hours. The AG-600 boasts a cruising speed of up to 480 kilometers per hour, which is 10 times that of a regular ship. This allows it to quickly reach the scene of a disaster and land indirectly on water, even in the face of 2-meter-high waves. Racing against time, it can accommodate up to 50 survivors, making it a veritable life-saving ark.
我们不仅仅只是在做一款飞机，实际上我们是在做一件大的功德。这款救苦救难的飞机研制出来了，它会救多少人？
With the water-dropping test complete, no one is happier with its results than the members of the test flight team.
试飞员主要的作用呢，就是把飞机的特性飞出来。飞行员飞的飞机一般是成熟的飞机，但是试飞员飞的飞机呢，往往是刚生产出来，或者是有了更大的改动之后，需要重新摸索它的特性的时候。
The mission of the test flight team is to explore and validate the so-called flight envelope of the AG-600, meaning the limits of its different capabilities. During a test flight, therefore, a pilot will try to establish its maximum attainable altitude, maximum flight speed, tightest possible turning radius, and so forth.
试飞的过程中呢，要把飞机在水面运行过程中不出现危险状况的这个边界飞出来，等于说是在风险的边缘试验这个飞机。
These test pilots therefore serve as pathfinders, responsible for verifying whether the AG-600 meets its designed requirements. They promptly report any issues they encounter to its developers, so that the latter can improve and optimize the plane's design. At the abandoned quarry in Suzhou, Anhui, the ET-120 has had its excavator bucket replaced with a hydraulic breaker. Now its primary task is to crush granite. The telescopic arm of the ET-120 is designed to accommodate a wide range of attachments, including excavator buckets, rock saws, pile drivers, hydraulic shears, and fire hoses. Depending on the unique needs of each disaster site, they will be used to perform a range of different tasks. In post-earthquake rescue operations, for example, an ET-120 with hydraulic shears can rapidly shear off steel bars, helping rescue personnel remove debris and save survivors. When equipped with a fire hose, meanwhile, an ET-120 can put out fires from spots that are inaccessible to fire trucks. Since it can be remotely controlled, moreover, the ET-120 can operate in closer proximity to fires, enhancing its firefighting efficiency. Driven by hydraulic cylinders, this ET-120 rock-breaking chisel is forcefully splitting rocks. In emergency rescue missions, it can effectively demolish boulders, quickly clearing a path for rescue vehicles. In addition to being versatile, the ET-120 is also easy to operate.
在我眼里，我感觉像是我的玩具，操作起来特别容易上手，我也特别喜欢它。
With just 2 control sticks and 3 pedals, Jiang Shu can guide the ET-120 through 45 complex maneuvers, highlighting how highly integrated its equipment control system is. Meanwhile, in Zhengzhou, the first aid team is racing against time to save their patient's life. They drive from Huanghe East Road onto Weilai Road, and are 2.1 kilometers away from the Henan Provincial People's Hospital. Unluckily, however, they now become stuck in the traffic. Li Shunqing now activates ultrasonic 5G remote transmission to transmit the patient's cardiac ultrasound images to the hospital's emergency center in real time. This will allow doctors there to promptly assess the patient's condition before his arrival.
像心肌梗死的病人，他的心肌酶学的变化在4到6个小时，也就是说，他的时间窗在4到6个小时之内，心肌细胞在不可逆受损达到最严重的情况之下，更快的时间对他来说，心肌细胞这个受损可以减到最小。我们尽量把这些损害减到最小。
At 14:45, doctors from the cardiology and ultrasound departments initiate a remote consultation. The transmitted images reveal weakened and abnormal heart motion. Based on their preliminary assessment, they conclude the patient has suffered a heart attack, causing damage to his heart tissue.
最大的价值还是我们超声的灵活性，可以在第一时间、在第一现场，把最重要的信息、病人的一些影像学的信息，能够传达给我们医生，来进行一些处理。
Upon arrival, he will be moved immediately to the hospital's emergency room for resuscitation. Then he will be transferred to the cath lab for angiography to confirm the diagnosis and guide subsequent interventions.
随着我们救援体系的建设，先进的、可移动、便捷式的医疗装备能够达到我们的救治现场，来缩短我们的诊断时间，有效地挽救患者的生命。
With the patient now approaching the hospital, a detailed course of action based on a preliminary diagnosis has already been mapped out. This is in Zhengzhou, one of China's most advanced cities. Although the beauty of the technology involved is that it can also be applied to areas that are more distant and less developed.
要想让超声的诊疗价值能够得到更广泛的覆盖和应用，它必须从医院里面走出来，走向低级别的医疗机构，比如说基层，甚至到更远的下乡体检，从发达地区走向不发达地区，走向偏远山区。
With its siren blaring, the ambulance navigates through congested traffic in Jingyi Road and passes through 3 intersections with traffic lights before finally reaching the emergency center. Between the emergency call and the patient's arrival at the emergency center, a total of 45 minutes passed. During the journey, emergency equipment and portable ultrasound devices on the ambulance have facilitated a seamless transition between pre-hospital emergency care and in-hospital treatment, winning the critical patient precious time for intervention. At the saturation diving base on Hengsha Island, although Hu Zhen's team have now reached the 500-meter pressure mark, their challenge is far from over. At 51 atmospheres, they must now spend a full 7 days and nights inside the hyperbaric chamber. Throughout this period, observing physicians will conduct a series of tests to see if they can function normally in the ultra-high pressure environment. The first test is a peg insertion task. High pressure can cause dysfunction in the nervous system of divers, affecting the precision of their underwater operations. A task like this is a good way to test their manual coordination and dexterity. Their easy completion of it shows they are in good mental and physical condition in the high-pressure environment. The next test is a jigsaw puzzle. This assesses their ability to recognize objects and patterns in a high-pressure environment. Its successful completion once again demonstrates their ability to function normally under 51 atmospheres of pressure. Meanwhile, a hand-cranked bicycle has been set up inside a small water tank for the divers to take an exercise breathing test. Carrying out diving operations at a depth of 500 meters demands not only mental clarity, but also physical strength. The diver first turns the handle slowly while breathing steadily, before turning it faster and breathing more heavily. His successful completion of the test confirms he can perform strenuous physical exertion. The final test is that of entering a diving bell. While at sea, after a diver enters a diving bell at the same pressure from the hyperbaric chamber, the vessel Shunda lowers it to the equivalent pre-assigned depth underwater.
中内中外是平衡的一个压力，我只需要把中门打开，潜水员从中里面出来，就可以进行一个作业了。
After finishing his mission, the diver returns to the diving bell, which will then be retrieved by the vessel and docked with the transfer chamber, allowing him to return to the chamber for rest and preparation for his next deep water operation. Now, Hu Jian's team must complete the entire process of diving bell entry. This involves wearing a diving helmet and being connected to a so-called umbilical cable, which serves as a link between the vessel and divers. In the future, the vessel will use the umbilical cable to provide breathing gas, circulating hot water, and communication information for divers.
母船这两个字非常贴切，我的潜水员就是妈妈肚子里的孩子。潜水员通过这个脐带缆跟我母船相连，就相当于妈妈跟孩子用脐带相连，就是妈妈对孩子的保护就是通过这些一连串的东西来保护的。
After the diving bell entry test has been completed, there is a lengthy waiting period. Since the divers' bodies have adapted to the pressure at 51 atmospheres, they must undergo slow decompression for a safe return to the surface. Decompressing back to 1 atmosphere takes 21 days, several times longer than the time required for compression.
那如果说减压的太快，气体就是来不及从我这个肺里面交换出来，这些气泡就积累在我们这个组织里面，比如肌肉啊、关节啊、皮肤下面啊，它就会产生挤压作用，挤压到神经，那么有可能就是引起我们各个神经系统反应。那比如说瘫痪，严重的话阻塞在我们这个脑组织里面，那么我们脑组织缺血坏死，甚至严重的死亡也有可能。
The waiting takes all the patience and forbearance the divers can muster. Confined in a tiny space, topics for conversation are soon exhausted. The days of decompression feel long and lonely. Monitoring their progress, at least, the physicians outside are glad to see nitrogen levels in their blood are falling steadily, so they will not suffer the decompression sickness. In the glow of the setting sun, the AG600 is receiving maintenance after its successful completion of the water-dropping tests. As a piece of engineering, it embodies the hard work and wisdom of over 150 research institutes, 10 universities, and tens of thousands of scientists and researchers from 20 provinces and municipalities across China. Numerous trials have made this metal giant an immortal ark. After successfully completing its own tests, the ET-120 stands quietly, at the ready, behind its operator Jiang Shu. In Zhengzhou, Henan, when the ambulance team arrives with its patient at the emergency center, the center is already well briefed and prepared, sending the patient immediately and directly to its emergency room. In fact, this is not an actual emergency treatment, but rather a simulated real-life exercise. The patient is actually a healthy volunteer. The images viewed by the consulting doctors are retrieved from the ultrasound device's database and transmitted remotely to the consultation room. At the emergency center, such emergency skill drills involving the use of domestic portable medical devices are conducted periodically. At the saturation diving base, the end of the 21 decompression process has arrived. Hu Jian and his teammates exit the chamber to return safely to normal life, thanks to round-the-clock precision monitoring by the life support system.
报告董事长，潜水员胡健安全出舱，感觉良好。潜水员沈小虎安全出舱，感觉良好。潜水员金良宁安全出舱，感觉良好。
The team's safe exit from the chamber marks the success of China's first 500-meter manned underwater land-based saturation diving experiment. From the remarkable ET-120 to the light and sophisticated portable ultrasound device, from the amphibious AG-600 to the Shunda vessel equipped with its advanced manned 500-meter saturation diving system, these pieces of mega equipment are like silent guardians, offering hope to those in peril, with immense potential to save and enhance human life.
做救捞潜水员心理肯定要强大，特别是像我们上次在那个重庆珠江公交救助的时候，看到这个惨状，进行水下搜寻嘛，潜水员还没发现，我看到镜头里扫过一个脚底板，那个潜水员一摸，是个小孩子，大概是3岁到4岁左右，然后小心翼翼地把他抱出来了。那个小孩子非常可怜，而且长得很漂亮，像洋娃娃一样。住那个潜水员，他小孩也跟他差不多，我小女儿也跟他差不多，所以说。 那现场一幕，我们很多人都掉眼泪了。
第二天要首飞了，第一天晚上半夜1点多了，我还在现场，我是围着飞机左转3圈，右转3圈，就像看着自己的孩子就要远离家门一样。我很少在外人面前去这个流泪，真的是这样。第二天，我们飞机。 上了跑道，飞机离地的那一瞬间，眼泪就流下来了，话都说不出来。
船扣了，我们里面有活人，我们把他们救出来，他们遇难了，那我们也要第一时间把他们的遗体打捞上来，或者是交给他们的家属啊，给他们一种安慰嘛。
有时候我跟身边的人或者是年轻人啊，我就跟他想，咱这一辈子活着，就是到你退休那一天。 或者你面对你的孙子什么，将来吹牛的时候，你得说哪个装备，那是你爷爷一手抓起来的，哎，我说那也是很自豪的事儿。